The purpose of this vodcast is to help you get started on the metric conversions, dimensional analysis, and density worksheet that we're going to be using to review the math that we've been learning in class. So I'm going to pick a few problems and do them with you. And a good place to start would be with number 1. So if you look on your worksheet, you will see the first question, number 1, says 132.5 centimeters equals how many inches? And in order to do that problem, you need to use dimensional analysis because centimeters is a metric unit and inches is an English unit, and you can't just slide the decimal in order to do this conversion. So what we would do is start with the number that's given as usual, so 132.5, and we would write centimeters behind it, and then I would draw a conversion factor. And as we've been doing in class, whichever unit is right here needs to go on the bottom because we want it to cancel out. We don't want centimeters, we want inches. Now the conversion between centimeters and inches is that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. And by doing that, what we can do is cross out the unit centimeters will cross out because we have it on the top and the bottom, and we'll be left with inches, which is good because that's what we're trying to find. So you would take your calculator and you would punch in 132.5 divided by 2.54, and then we would write down 52.2 as our answer. Again, we divided because this number's on the bottom. If the number would have been on the top, we would have multiplied. So anything that's on the top you multiply, on the bottom you divide. So go ahead and double check the math with your calculator. 132.5 divided by 2.54 equals 52.2 inches. This is a dimensional analysis problem, and this part right here would be called a conversion factor because 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Let's try problem number 2. And problem number 2 says 3 meters equals how many inches? So for this one we have to do a little bit more work. We just converted from centimeters to inches, but this isn't centimeters, this is meters. So you have to think to yourself, if I can get this number from meters into centimeters, I already know how to convert from centimeters to inches because that's what we did in problem number 1. Well, there's 2 ways you could do it. You could use King Henry. King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. And this would be, let's see, we are in meters, which is under the unit, and we want to get to centimeters, because remember, if we can get from meters to centimeters, then we can convert to inches. So I've got to move the decimal 2 to the right. So that would give me 300 centimeters. And then I could set up the conversion the same way I did in the last problem, where I put centimeters on the bottom and inches on the top. And if you remember, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. I would give you that conversion on a quiz or a test. And then you could do the math, 300 divided by 2.54, and you get 118 inches. Again, check out your units canceling. We've got centimeters on the top and centimeters on the bottom, and we're left with inches. Now another way that you can set this up is you can start with 3 meters, and you can use 2 conversion factors. You can put meters on the bottom and centimeters on the top. Again, we want to cancel meters, and we're trying to get to centimeters. So we could say 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, and that will cross out the unit meters. So essentially that's doing what we did right here in the first way we did it. So 300 centimeters by moving the decimal, you just multiplied by 100. And then again we could go back here and do the step 2.54 centimeters on the bottom and 1 inch on the top, and we would get the same answer. So that's 2 different ways that you can do number 2. The next problem I'd like to do with you is, let's skip down to number 4. If you look at problem number 4, it says convert 14 millimeters to meters. So 14 millimeters equals how many meters is what we're looking for. Well, because these are both metric prefixes, metric units, what we can do is use the King-Henry conversion in order to just slide the decimal to do this conversion. So this problem doesn't need any dimensional analysis or conversion factors. So again, we would say King Henry died, unfortunately, drinking chocolate milk. This is kilo, hecto, deca, the unit, so this could be meter, liter, gram, deci, centi, and milli. And in this problem, we're starting with millimeters. So this M stands for milla, this M stands for meter, and we just want to convert to regular meters, which is right here. So we have to move our decimal 1, 2, 3 to the left. So I take my decimal and I go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and the answer that I write down would be 0.014 meters. So notice I didn't have to show any work for that one. I could just do that problem by sliding the decimal. And I'd like to do one more with you. Flip your paper open to number 19. Okay. So if you look at number 19 says 23.6 feet equals how many centimeters? Okay, so 23.6 feet equals how many centimeters? So again, think to how we did number 1 and 2. If we can get to inches, then we can convert from inches to centimeters. Now before, we did centimeters to inches, so we're going to be going backwards compared to numbers 1 and 2 that we did. But the first thing we need to do is take feet and convert it into inches. So always start with what you're given. So I would do 23.6 feet. And then I'm going to set up a conversion factor. I'm going to take the unit feet and put it on the bottom, and I'm going to put inches on the top. Feet goes on the bottom because I'm trying to cancel that out and get inches. So then notice how when I do this, I put the units in first and then I figure out what numbers go in. So on the bottom I would put 1 foot is 12 inches. There are 12 inches in a foot. And I can cancel my units of feet. And now I need to do the conversion to get from inches to centimeters. So I put inches on the bottom and centimeters on the top. This time it's going to look a little different because inches is on the bottom. Before we had inches on the top. So 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. And now we can cancel inches. And we're in centimeters, which is good because that's what we want to be in. And then to do your math, you would do 23.6 times 12 times 2.54. And let me get my calculator. Okay. And the answer that I get is 719 centimeters. So in 23.6 feet, there are 719 centimeters. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful. You can go back and watch it again if you need to. There's going to be an answer key available in class if you need to check your answers, and I'm always around for help. Thank you.